I'm Alex Denadai. I'm assistant professor of psychology, and my expertise is in mental health diagnosis and treatment. My work mostly focuses on patients with anxiety disorders and OCD, and so we focus on the entire spectrum of what people could experience, starting from how they might be diagnosed to how might they actually receive treatment at any clinic in America. So right now, with mental health diagnosis, there's a lot of inconsistency, and so that creates a lot of problem in both research, but also when patients come to clinics, they might see multiple providers and get different reads on what's going on, and that's really frustrating for patients. So we're trying to create it so we have the first right, accurate diagnosis the first time. One project we're really excited about right now is creating personalized mental health treatment plans by using machine learning. And so what that means is we can use people's neural patterns, their brain scans, to determine what treatment they should receive at a specific time. Because if people go to different providers, they might get one recommendation here, one recommendation there. If you want to standardize it, one way would to be use their brain scans. But the problem with that is there's dozens of brain areas and different people differ in how they express the patterns. So instead of trying to break down thousands of things ourselves, we let the computers do that for us. With machine learning, it often relies on situations that get a whole lot of data. So if you have a self-driving car, it gets trillions and trillions of data points every minute. Whereas in mental health, we might only have a few hundred, and so we have to do a lot of innovation to make those methods apply well in mental health. The other part is often mental health is broken down into two parts. It's either basic science, which is developing fundamental knowledge, or clinical science, where it means applying it to patients. And what we're doing is kind of a third new way of going about it, which is data science. So there didn't used to be so much data available to share, to put together. And so often in the clinical findings, they're very conflicting. And so what we do is we find signal among that noise and try to put together those findings and create a pattern that makes sense in the long run. So what we do is we take patients who come in for clinical treatment, and then they do a bunch of assessments. So they do assessments through an interview, and they also undergo a brain scan, about 20 minutes or so. And what we do then is we line those up. We take their brain scans and use the computer to line up what part of the brain scan might relate to what type of mental illness they might be experiencing. And then 3 months later, we look and see how well they did in different types of treatment. And eventually we try to line up who gets what kind of treatment based on their initial brain scan. So what it might mean is in the future, instead of coming in and getting one assessment from one kind of provider and another from a different provider, we could look at the brain scan and say, here's the kind of treatment you should get because that's going to give you the best chance of doing really well. And the idea is it might help you get the right treatment the first time so you don't have to waste time in a treatment that might not work as well for you.